A dangerous virus is rapidly spreading across the world, with cases reported in 116 countries. The World Health Organization has issued a dire warning. If we don't get this virus under control soon, it could be the next pandemic, a pandemic that might make COVID-19 look like a dress rehearsal. The director of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros, delivered a terrifying news on August 14. The virus, known as mpox, which was once confined to a single African country, has now become a global threat. This is a serious issue that we should all take seriously, not simply another virus making headlines. A less dangerous strain of this virus attempted to spread over the world just 2 years ago, but it was mostly stopped. But now it's mutated into something far more dangerous. It has spread from the Democratic Republic of the Congo to 12 additional African countries in a matter of months. And it isn't stopping there. It has already reached East Asia, including the Philippines, and European nations like Sweden and Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. Experts are warning that this new variant is at least 7 times more deadly than COVID-19, which is reason for concern. 7 times. Just consider that. In 2022, the mpox virus affected 100,000 individuals globally. That was 2 years ago. That may sound like a lot, but looking back, it was really only a warning shot, a milder outbreak that allowed the virus to change and grow into the stronger form we're currently facing. Everyone is wondering if we've hit a tipping point similar to what happened with COVID-19 in March 2020. Is the outbreak of this virus going to cause a global health crisis? Is a new era of prolonged lockdowns, unstable economies, and a global health emergency on the horizon? There are troubling issues about how fast the virus moved from one African nation to the rest of the world. How did it spread so widely? Was this a normal course of events, or is there something more sinister at play? Some theories suggest it could have been intentionally modified, much like the controversies that surrounded the origins of COVID-19. The truth is that inquiries are still underway, so we can't say for sure just yet. However, we do know that the severity of the effects will depend greatly on the availability of a vaccination against mpox and our level of preparedness for this disaster. Are we about to experience another pandemic, or will it be possible to stop it before it goes out of control? Now let's take a brief look back to see where we're starting from. Let's go back to 1958. In order to test a polio vaccine, Danish scientists sent a troop of monkeys from Singapore to Denmark. Sounds ordinary, doesn't it? However, one of those monkeys had serious symptoms upon arrival, including a high fever, sore muscles, and unusual skin lesions. Using samples from these lesions, the scientists identified a novel form of pox virus that they dubbed mpox, or Monkey Pox virus. However, how did this virus, which was once limited to monkeys, spread to people? More importantly, why, almost 7 decades later, has it grown to be so dangerous? The first human case of what we now know as the mpox virus involved a 9-year-old boy from a poor tribal community in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Due to the intimate contact between his tribe and infected monkeys, the virus underwent a mutation that enabled it to spread to people. The youngster met a horrible end as a result of one of these mutations that proved to be lethal. However, this was just the start. That was not the end of the virus. It proceeded to develop, disperse, and intensify, laying the groundwork for the current situation. The virus has been divided into 2 major groups, or clades, over time: the West African clade and the Congo Basin clade, which are mainly found in Congo. The Congo Basin clade is typically regarded as being more harmful of the two. Clade 1, which originates from this region, tends to cause more severe symptoms, making it easier to identify and, theoretically, easier to control as it crosses borders. Because they become ill more quickly, people infected with Clade 1 are less likely to travel far. Clade 2, on the other hand, permits individuals affected to travel across borders more readily because to its milder symptoms. This implies that it can proliferate and spread more quickly without being noticed. But just because Clade 2 travels to more countries doesn't necessarily mean it's more dangerous. Due to sustained exposure, our immune systems have evolved over time to combat Clade 2, which has resulted in a low case fatality rate of just 1%. 1%. That doesn't seem like much, does it? But don't be misled by that figure. Clade 1 is a different kind. Outside of the Congo, it is new, and our immune systems aren't yet ready to deal with it. Clade 1 has a substantially higher case fatality rate of 10% as a result. This implies that 10% of those infected with this variety will not survive. And although the Congo's inadequate medical infrastructure might be a factor in these deaths, there is a notable difference between Clade 1 and Clade 2's case fatality rate. Clade 1 is currently expanding outside of the Congo into other regions of Africa, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia in 2024. And it's growing quickly because it just requires a minimal amount of touch to spread. The mpox virus is sneaky. If someone with the virus has skin lesions or touches an object, you could get infected just by touching that person, animal, or object. The fact that mpox viruses can last on objects like clothing, tables, or glass for more than 15 days in cold, dark, low humidity environments makes the situation even more terrifying. This implies that even if an infected person used a train seat 10 days ago, the virus might still be there, waiting to infect someone else. So what happens if you contract the mpox virus? The infection progresses through 3 main stages, regardless of whether you have Clade 1 or Clade 2. Though Clade 1 tends to be more severe, the incubation period comes first. This is the interval of time between virus exposure and the onset of symptoms. It usually lasts from 5 to 21 days. You won't feel any symptoms during this time, but the virus is still in your body, changing and growing. It's possible that you are infected without even being aware of it. Next comes the prodrome stage, at which time things start to become serious. General symptoms include fever, headache, sore muscles, and fatigue. Your body is trying to tell you that something is wrong, but these signs seem somewhat common, don't they? Anything could be them. However, lymphadenopathy, or enlarged lymph nodes, is a crucial sign of mpox at this stage. These tiny bean-sized glands are dispersed throughout your body and aid in the defense against infections. For instance, oral ulcers can cause you to feel a sore lump beneath your jaw. The swellings are the result of your lymph nodes working extra hard to eradicate the infection. And lastly, the stage of rash. Things start to become obvious at this point. Usually, the rash begins on your face and moves to other areas of your body. It goes through several phases, such as blisters that fill with fluid and finally turn into scabs. Your skin will start to develop flat, dry patches known as macules. These areas will then swell up into bumps known as papules. These lumps will eventually fill with liquid and transform into vesicles. It's a painful and visible reminder that you've been infected. So, what should you do if you or someone else has mpox? Above all, maintain proper hygiene. Clean common areas in your house on a regular basis and wash your hands frequently. Refrain from close contact with others, particularly if they exhibit symptoms of mpox. Family members are included in this. Although it may be difficult, it is essential. To stop the infection from spreading through stray animals, avoid them as well. Additionally, if you contract mpox, stay indoors until your skin heals completely and all rashes and lesions have disappeared. A vaccine known as MVN was available during the 2022 mpox outbreak. The European Commission and Bavarian Nordic are stepping up and sending roughly 215,000 doses to Africa. The USA and WHO should have provided this support sooner. As with COVID-19, it is critical to tackle the issue at its source and for all nations to provide assistance. All of us are involved in this. The mpox virus doesn't care about borders, politics, or nationality. It is up to us to halt its spread. Share this video to raise awareness. Stay informed, stay safe, and stay healthy.